the things a lot of people are searching for with antidepressants or drugs or alcohol, our bodies, when they're functioning properly, make them naturally, those feelings. And when your body isn't producing them naturally for whatever reason, people are more apt to seek out substances and other ways of controlling that. But when you learn to control your nervous system and to control your thoughts, your body does this for you. You will not be needing to seek outside sources. You get kind of high on life.
Got a lot of love, yeah, that's for sure. You got music and movies, and friends and medicine. Yeah, is the show for me and you, the one you love to listen to. And ooh, you got your friends, see it through. See, 'cause laughter is medicine too. Said it's medicine too, babe.
Hey, welcome to the Wendy Love Edge Show, brought to you by Cannabis Healthcare and the Relevnt App.
We don't dispense medical advice, and all your health choices are your own.
The opinions expressed on the show are not necessarily those of our producer, A Edge Productions.
This is season 6, episode 5. How is positive thinking good medicine? I'm Wendy Love Edge, and this is my co-host, Branden Lee. Hey, how are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing really awesome. Staying so positive over here, Wendy. I've just been walking around super positive, saying affirmations all day, and just no, I'm actually doing great though, for real. We kind of got snowed in a little bit here in Arkansas, so everyone's kind of going a little stir crazy, but having a good time. How are you doing?
Doing pretty well. Yeah, I'm trying to stay positive myself. This episode is about positive thinking, and
Yes.
I've been thinking a lot about the episode because I always say my health journey really started when I changed my mind and decided I could be more positive, and that was like the springboard to everything else. So I really believe that that it's a healthy choice, but it's a hard choice to make sometimes, to choose that positive path,
Yeah. And you got to have, you can be positive most of the time, but I think no matter what, there are some creeping feelings no matter what you're doing
right.
In your day. But yeah, an overall encompassing of trying to stay positive and trying to make that next forward step and in your journey, it's what you got to do. And I think a lot of positivity, it drives with discipline, going out there and doing those things and staying positive and getting up after you get knocked down a lot. That's about positivity.
That's the thing, so-called negative happenings are gonna happen, right? What's positive and negative is a little subjective sometimes, or based on circumstance, but how we handle those bumps in the road is really the key. And because the bumps in the road are going to happen, and we can't have control and power over that, but we can have control over our reaction and how we handle them.
Right. And Wendy, we talk about positivity, but there's also kind of the other side of positivity. I don't know if you've been to this situation before, but like maybe you hurt yourself, or maybe you're in a really vulnerable spot and your friend's like, hey, you know what, just get up, get on your feet, put some dirt on it, and you're like, hey, listen, I'm really hurting. And you just kind of want to be in that moment of,
right. Yes,
of hurting,
right.
of going through those feelings. And so sometimes even at our weakest points, I think we kind of got to remember that it's not always going to just be positive Pete,
Right.
And even with our friends, we got to realize that everyone goes through these things. And and just to kind of go with it, go through it with them instead of just trying to say, hey, buck up.
Right, exactly. I think there's a point for that sometimes. And sometimes when we're close to someone, we need to be the one to kind of say, okay, it's time to kind of get moving. But yeah, we talk about that later in the show with Emily Hartley, that toxic positivity where you're not acknowledging the person's feelings can be really hurtful, even if that's not your intention. I think most people have good intentions with that, but
Sure.
sometimes it doesn't come across so well. It doesn't feel good,
Exactly. You kind of get mad at them and you're like, I need to feel this right now,
Right. And I think it's important to your growth and to actually go through it and feel it, because if you don't do it at the time, you probably will do it later,
Very much so. That's a very good point. Very good point.
Right. And so I went back to, the Mayo Clinic. I'm always looking at their articles, and, they had an article about positive thinking, stop negative self-talk to reduce stress. And it was a pretty good article if people want to check it out. I love the way they one thing that was weird was that they said they know that positive thinking improves health, but they didn't know why. But I think there is scientific evidence for that. So I was a little put off kind of at the beginning, but I kept going. And they were just talking about how it improves cardiovascular health, it improves lung disease, reduce death rates from different diseases.
Well, I can see that, when you're positive, you're not laying down and sulking and resting your body. Usually when you think of someone that's being positive, you think of someone that's up there doing things, up on their feet, helping, and all these things, expending energy. And I think that's a lot of it when it comes to positivity is you're up and you're doing things. So you're not dormant,
Right. And not kind of dwelling in the negative side of it, but looking at for solutions and, how can I feel better? I mean, that's definitely, I think, part of it. And they also said it increases your lifespan to have a more positive attitude.
Yeah, well, I mean, negative attitude, you're like, just get me out of here.
So maybe that's true.
Maybe you're positive. It kind of it reminds me, Wendy, of I have a friend that has this wiener dog, and this wiener dog is blind. It's really old, and just kind of trekking through life, but feels like a tank or something, because he's just getting up and he'll another day, and just that positivity. Now, you don't think of him just going around rainbows and sunshine. Right. It's really the way that he carries himself. He's just going to get up and go do it, and because that's what he does. And so I think a lot of that positivity is really the discipline that you need to get up and face your day or face your problems.
Right. That's true. Yeah. It's funny. So with answers, right, he may not even realize how difficult a situation he's in. He's just like, okay, it's a new day, let's keep going,
and he does it, and and I think that you can take kind of I don't know, you can take something out of that where this someone that is, he's got a hurt back or a broken leg and all these things, but they just kind of go through it. We see it all the time with amazing athletes that get injured or people that overcome incredible odds to do what they do. And it's not just because they're super positive, it's because they believe that they can do these things, and nothing's going to hold them back from doing it.
Right. That's a really good point. I think also approaching life with humor, the article talked about that as one of the ways to stay more positive. The people I know that can find humor in life definitely have a more positive outlook. I mean, life is pretty funny, if you look at it.
You are so right. We have to have laughter. We have to laugh at ourselves in the situations. Wendy, this is like the worst thing could ever happen. My mother's house burnt down earlier this week.
I'm so sorry. Gosh.
Insane. Yes, it was insane. It was great. No one was injured. It was a great fire, huge fire, total loss. But the first thing I said to my mother was, what'd you do? Did you leave the curling iron on? Why are you setting fire to your house? In that moment where you think, oh man, this has got to be great sadness. We had more laughter and hugs and love going around, and just our thoughts of what we need to do more than sulking and sitting in it in the sadness. So Even you got to take those moments, even that sometimes you think are overwhelming, and kind of sit back a little bit and realize that the people that help you in these situations, all of that stuff is really what makes, getting up a lot easier on yourself instead of sulking in it and living in it.
Right. I absolutely agree. Another thing in the article that they mentioned was living a healthy lifestyle definitely increases your positivity.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, we talk about, exercise and eating right and all that. Somehow it does elevate. I mean, exercise, as we know, elevates your mood, makes you feel better,
For sure.
And even though some of the comfort foods can kind of feel good in the moment, but maybe aren't so good for you,
I think everything in moderation, even those junk foods and things like that. I've told you about my addiction to Oreos.
Yes.
I love those things, but you try to make it in moderation. So, if you're eating Oreos, that's okay, but you better be also working out and doing things like that to be active with your body. Doing that 10,000 steps thing is great. Just having some positivity, as we said, discipline and being positive, and going at least getting that workout in, getting those stretches in, and
Right.
being positive about your body as well.
Right, for sure. It kind of just raises your vibration a little bit. I mean, yeah, after I watched the episode and you like eating Cheetos, I had to get a bag of Cheetos. And then Angel said to me, "Why does everyone love Cheetos? Like, seriously, like, I don't know anyone who would turn down a Cheeto. I don't know."
There is something in them. I don't know what it is either. I told you that I like Cheetos as well. I love those the puffy, like the white cheddar ones.
Yes, that's what I got.
Oh,
I was like, I have to
can't
just
stop
have.
eating those. We talk about moderation. I don't know if I can handle that. So I try to put on the blinders as I go down that aisle at the
Right.
grocery store. But
Yeah, but a little bit is okay.
Yes.
Just generally healthy lifestyle, it definitely will raise up your vibration. And then just practicing that positive self-talk. I think we all can fall into telling ourselves all our mistakes and what we don't like about our body and all of that stuff, but we can flip it around instead and focus on the more positive things.
Yes. And I think when you start that journey, that health journey, it's really vital. And this is something that you can start doing really after the first couple of weeks of just being disciplined and doing your workout is noticing the changes. Like, oh, whoa, I haven't seen that before. Or, oh my gosh, you're definitely lifting more. You're definitely working out longer. You're stretching further. Things like that you want to build on, and you want to definitely give yourself some positive reactions. I think, it's so great to go to a gym or go to anywhere really, and someone notices that you've been working out. Like, I think that just builds up your own positivity. So remember that when your friend is also working out, or if they're on a diet, remember those just tiny little things to say to people or to say about yourself really does go a long ways.
Absolutely. Great ideas and thoughts. Well, coming up next, my conversation with Emily Hartley. Joining me now is Emily Hartley. She is a certified strategic life coach, EFT practitioner, master NLP practitioner, and trauma professional. Welcome back to the show, Emily.
Thank you for having me, Wendy. I always enjoy our talk.
Yes, me too. And I'm excited about this one. So we're talking about whether positivity is medicine today. Positive thinking, is it medicine? What are your thoughts about that?
Without question, the science is there. It backs the positive mindset as medicine in several different ways. The most important, like the neuroscience, is every thought has a chemical reaction, positive and negative. Every single thought releases some type of chemical in your body. And so positive thinking is going to give you the serotonin, the dopamine. The serotonin creates a sense of well-being, makes you feel calm, more focused, more stable. The dopamine is the pleasure center of your brain. the reward system. So when you're thinking happy thoughts, when you're feeling those thoughts, you get those chemical releases in your body that are pleasurable. And that affects your whole nervous system. It affects your whole body, your whole health. And so without question, having a positive mindset can be a great benefit to your health.
Wow. I mean, to explain it in that way, as the way the body works anyway, is just really exciting to me because, I read a few articles. Branden and I were talking about this earlier in the show, and I was so surprised when I saw one from the Mayo Clinic where they said they weren't sure why positive thinking improved health, but they know it does. And I was so shocked because clearly when you talk about these hormones and, they are actually proof that a positive thought can bring better health to me anyway. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they would say we don't know because the science is there. To me, I think they're just saying we didn't really do our research yet.
Right, that could be maybe. Yeah. So your body kind of rewards you for these positive thoughts, it seems like. Do you think that's true?
Yes, absolutely. And the things a lot of people are searching for with antidepressants or drugs or alcohol, our bodies, when they're functioning properly, make them naturally, those feelings. And when your body isn't producing them naturally for whatever reason, people are more apt to seek out substances and other ways of controlling that. But when you learn to control your nervous system and to control your thoughts, your body does this for you. You will not be needing to seek outside sources. You get kind of high on life. And
Mhm.
so, and the benefits of that in the physical sense are you get a stronger immune system, it can lower blood pressure, less chances of heart disease, increased focus, memory, improved relationships, which all just leads to improved health overall, more fulfillment and success in life.
Right, for
But it,
sure. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, so you specialize in helping people heal from trauma and resolve childhood memories and issues. Um, how does that increase the positivity?
well, we can't just begin with the positive, unfortunately. We have to start with the negative of why isn't your system functioning properly? Where did this begin? What traumas, what injuries happened? So we work a lot in the beginning with the negative sides of it and those negative emotions, things like grief, loss, abuse, anger, any unresolved or unprocessed emotions. Once we've processed and worked through those, then we can start bringing in the positive. We can start learning those skills and those techniques that help us associate with the positive feelings so that we can get those good release of dopamines, of serotonin, those good feelings, those happy thoughts, those good memories, all that stuff. But without creating room first, then we get more into the toxic positivity part of it.
Right. So let's talk about that because I've seen that those words together more frequently lately. Oh, this person seems so, upbeat and happy all the time, but really it's kind of toxic, right? So if you could define that for us, that would be great. And then let's chat about it a little more.
Yeah, I mean, I think it becomes toxic because people just feel uncomfortable with negative emotions. They tend to want to dismiss them. And so, if you're responding to distress with these false reassurances rather than empathy, even though you're well intentioned with someone who's struggling, it can cause that person to feel alienated, disconnected, invalidated. And so,
Right. It has happened to me, and I didn't at the time. Actually, it made me really angry. Right. I can think of a recent instance where I just felt really angry, and like you said, invalidated. Right. And I know that the person didn't have ill intentions, but what I had said to them was awful, and the response was kind of like, "You'll be fine." you know and what I was looking for was something more real. So can people learn this and understand and how do you respond better when when you care about someone, you just want them to be okay. I don't think for the most part it's ill intent, but it cannot feel good at all,
Yeah, some better responses are things like, that must have been really awful for you. Tell me more about that. How does that make you feel? I'm so sorry that happened to you. I don't know what that feels like. I can't imagine that,
Mhm.
just having some compassion and empathy. And then, instead of just saying, oh, everything's going to be okay, which is just a way of placating a situation so you can get out of it,
Right.
start looking for ways, how is it going to be okay? Like, you don't, how do you know? We don't really know. So
Mhm.
you can say things like, it's going to be okay because you survived this, you made it through this, and you got to where you are right now. So we've shown that you can survive. And
Mhm.
focusing on those strengths. A lot of people who've been through trauma are just constantly going through their past and finding reasons that they were to blame, that they
Mhm.
should feel ashamed, that they should feel guilty. And so the last thing they need is for someone else putting more of that on them.
Right, right.
Most of them have that internal dialogue going already. We
Mhm.
have to almost combat that internal dialogue with not toxic positivity, but yeah, that sucks. Just say,
Mhm.
yeah, that really sucks. I really hate that. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to feel bad. Most people would feel bad.
Right.
And then once you let that feeling come, process it, let it go, then there's space. Then there's space for some more positive stuff. But until that
Nice.
space is
Mhm.
created, you're just going to alienate people more and more if you can't respond with compassion and hope.
Mm. Great advice, Emily. So how can people get in touch with you?
I am at hartleyemotionalhealth@gmail.com. You can call me 479-244-9328. You can contact me through the Midtown Counseling
Mhm.
bio on our website. And if you're interested in learning more about this, there's a great book by a woman named Barbara Ehrenreich called Bright Sided. And it's about this toxic positivity and how it's become a part of American ideology. Even though we're so not a happy country,
Mhm.
we put the spin on it. It's about the heedless optimism that's embraced in our corporate world, ingrained in American society, that navigates us to produce more, to work longer, to accept less than we want, less than we deserve. And it's a really great book that I can't recommend enough. And so anyone who wants to learn more about that, check her out, Barbara Ehrenreich.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being here. Great to see you again.
You too, anytime. I enjoy it immensely.
Joining me now is Zach Ruffo. Zach became the first ever Speed Bag sponsored athlete at the age of 20. He's also the founder of I Muscle Up and a medicinal cannabis advocate. Welcome to the show, Zach.
Hello.
How are you tonight?
I am doing excellent. How about yourself?
Doing great. I'm so glad you're here. I had the opportunity to interview you on the Relevnt App. And one of the things that really impressed me was your positivity. So I thought about you for this show because we're talking about whether positive thinking is medicine. And what are your thoughts about that?
I mean, that's just I think that more people that I try to surround myself with have that same type of aura, I guess, about them is that, I mean, that feeling you get when you make other people smile and you make them have a little bit better of a day kind of a thing. I mean, I think that all of us have that ability in us and just trying to spread that to each one of them so that,
Mhm.
it catches like wildfire. So not just, I make you light up and end up having a good night. So the next people that you're going to talk to are just going to have that much more energy because of how much spark that you've all, already have.
Mhm.
And I tell everybody that, I'll never take credit for anything other than being a spark because we all have the fuel inside of us. It's
Mhm.
just a matter of just finding what is going to get that spark. And then all of a sudden, we're lit up, we're talking about it, we're passionate about it. And, I think that especially people in our industry, once we start talking about something that's really passionate for all of us, we all get in that good spirit, good minded.
Right.
Everybody wanted to be, happy and positive. Nobody
Right.
wants a downer.
Right, for sure, for sure. I think part of it may be also the exercise, right? So,
Oh, for sure.
so yeah. So for you, I see on your Instagram post the fun things you're doing with people, and you just look like you're having a great time.
It's
How does the exercise impact your positive thinking?
you see, and exercise is mine, and I tell people all the time these days that you need to find yours. It might not be the exercise that what I do, because I love more extreme body weight
Mhm.
type of exercises that some people might be like, whoa, settle down, dude. I'm not doing a ninja warrior thing or something like that.
Right, right.
And I completely understand. And again, the biggest thing that you want to try to promote is trying to find something that you have a good time and that you do enjoy doing.
So let's talk about where cannabis kind of intersects with this, because we talked about, choosing things that make you happy, and how does cannabis help us to stay positive?
Well, other than it being one of the most beautiful things that you've ever put your eyes on, the whole, and I guess that's again coming from the passion. Every act of cannabis, at least in my life and everything like this, I have a strong passion towards. So, for the average person, I'm not, sure on what it sparks in the beginning, other than wanting to feel better.
Mhm.
Because that's usually what they're searching out for before they've used cannabis. Us cannabis users throughout of our lifetime and everything like this, we're already really familiar. Our endocannabinoid system is already pretty much knows the cannabinoids that we're searching for and everything like this. So for us, that have already established all that, the science that it's opened up, then the things that we get to see now is just, again, it's mind blowing. So for us, it's it's something that we've always thought about. We've always wanted to explore more of, and now it's here. And now we're
Mhm.
like, oh, this is amazing. Because again, it does give us that opportunity to explore what we've always wanted to, but everybody's been like, nah, you're not allowed to go further with this. And so
Mhm.
for us, that have been doing it for so long, I think it's just that opportunity to seize, to seize
Mhm.
and to be able to educate more people, because it has helped so many of us. It's
Right.
helped more people, than I even knew.
Mhm.
Honest to God, because I didn't know until I got into the industry and got behind the register at a dispensary to see how many people would come in there just suffering. And
Mhm.
it was honestly really sad that the state of Florida had to make them jump through hoops to be able to get the relief that they were looking for.
Right.
Again, shame.
Mhm.
But fast forward, after they had been there for a few weeks and like this, that was what brought them to cannabis. That's what they were looking for. They were looking for those smiles again. They were
Mhm.
looking to feel good. And
Mhm.
even if some of the sickest patients that I'd ever dealt with only had a limited time amount left, they would come in every day smiling. They would come in every day with like this. And we as a society, I feel like, owe it to people that are suffering like that, not
Mhm.
have to jump through hoops to be able to feel good before it's their time.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you see the difference in people, working at the dispensary, coming in so ill, and chronic pain itself, even if there's nothing else, can really bring people down. So,
Yes.
so what have you got there to show us as part of this discussion?
So the big thing again that we're always learning is that we found out that if you apply heat and pressure to this beautiful flower, that you can end up creating a concentrate.
Mhm.
So again, flower pressed rosin,
So that's a rosin press.
which for me, I've promoted a lot because we love the flower so much, and a lot of times we tend not to smoke flower through the day because again we talked before about the carcinogens and about how it kind of makes you just a little bit more lazier, a little bit more where you don't have that oomph to get up and go, because again you
Mhm.
get smoke in your lungs. So if we could
Right.
find a more healthy alternative, besides eating it, because some people have fast metabolisms. I have a really fast metabolism, so my body metabolizes it before I can even feel anything. So
Wow.
it will
Well,
not-
I've prayed for that my whole life, Zach.
yeah, my wife doesn't like me bragging about it or anything like that. And, this right here, all we're doing is, and I bought this off Amazon. So I mean, you can buy these things really, really easy.
Isn't that amazing?
It
You
is
know,
amazing.
yeah.
I was really surprised, honestly. I was like, I looked it up. I was like, I wonder where I could find one of these. And boom, $375, like delivered
Wow.
to your door. Like I was like, well, am I gonna get the return on it? Because I'm worried. You know, I mean, you buy your 8s at the dispensary for anywhere from $27 to $53. What is the return going to be? Now, it always is going to depend on the flower, because all flowers are a little bit different. I don't have a vast amount of knowledge of what I am doing. I have done by trial and error and got a couple of buddies that did it on a bigger level than me.
Mhm.
And if they would probably be watching me right now, they would probably be like, that's a very messy workstation. I can't believe you're wearing gloves, but not all of us have the ability to have a laboratory and have a bunch of these things. So some of us have to cut corners. Some of us have to, do the things that we're able to do. And
Well,
so
I think, yeah, this is important because, we're talking about positivity and positive thinking, and the medicine helps with that. But let's face it, cannabis is expensive. You were talking about, the return on buying the machine. Perhaps, it will help somebody if they realize, yes, it is cost effective and I can have more of the medicine that makes me feel happier and helps my symptoms,
And that's what I think, that's what ultimately, as we were talking about, the thing that keeps us driven in this industry is that, is being able to share these little things. I mean, I work at a smoke shop and I still get people come in there and give me little tips and little this and another. And I'm like, okay, that's really cool to me like this. And it's a lot of, most of the time, it's all the old schools that come in there, what I'm saying?
Right.
Give me a little lesson and whatnot. But again, I mean, that's what we're trying to end up accomplishing, is trying to be able to manage our habit, being able to activate our endocannabinoid system, give it its cannabinoids that it is searching for, and be able to have a great day. So I'm a cold starter. I usually put my concentrate in and then I'll warm it up afterwards, because a lot of times that ends up saving your banger, and it saves it where you save a lot of your medicine too. If you have a decent banger, usually the typical time is about 17 seconds. Right about that time, you'll see that stuff start to melt. You'll get a good carb cap that's going to make sure that it closes all the way up, and you'll see this fill up. With clean vapor that what you just pressed, know what that concentrate was. There's no secrets. There is no additives. There is no guessing on what I just smoked.
Right.
Just
Clean.
Again,
Yeah.
good, clean, full spectrum flower pressed rosin.
Absolutely. So Zach, how can people get in touch with you?
We can, I mean, I'm a, one of these days I'm going to go to TikTok, but I always say I'm still an Instagrammer. I'm still playing on there. But if anybody ever has any further questions than that, I mean, they can always email me at speedbagskunk@gmail.com. But again, I answer all my Instagram messages. I'll tell everybody I don't put up with any kind of hate or anything like that. So if I did something wrong or did something that wasn't by the book, I apologize. But if you message me about, hating on about like this, I'm probably not going to read all of it. I'm going to see it as mean, and I just don't do that stuff.
That's important. We're talking about positivity today in this plant, and you can keep that stuff out of your life, right?
100%.
You start reading it and it's not in a positive light, you just move on.
And some people, even being in spotlights and everything like this, some people are like, well, no, what is it? No,
no press is bad press, or no.
Press is bad press. I'm like, no. I ain't dealing with that. Matter of fact, if they could go on my block list on Instagram to see, I just don't do that kind of stuff. I just don't. It's like, I mean, yeah, you might lose, you know, this, that, and another, but again, it's just, you know, why some people go out of their way just to be hateful on things. And so again, like I just was more or less just saying that I answer everything and I read everything like this, and I'm a super overthinker and I have a big heart and everything hurts me. And as much as they don't think that it does, and everything like this, I'm like, look, that hurt me, man. But
Right.
you know,
Well,
there's a lot of people out there like that. There's a lot of overthinkers out there, and there's a lot of people that, you know, I mean, you would never have a thought like that. So I say that would just to be like, you know, of course I read everything and everything like this. You know, I mean, I don't respond though to a lot of things for sure.
Right. Well, and I think you probably learned that to protect yourself too, which you're absolutely entitled to. And you're out there helping people. I see what you're doing, and I'm so glad you joined me here on the Wendy Love Edge Show. Thanks for being here.
And I definitely, like to say, you know, I'm wanting to continue to spread the love, continue to spread the knowledge, and you know, with a plant like Mary Jane by my side, there is just no way that that's not possible. So. And with that being said, you get to do the exact same thing too. And this person, that person, because she ain't stingy and she loves us all.
Yes, she does. Thanks so much, Zach. Oh man, that was fun with Zach, watching him make the rosin. I mean, man, I should get one of those because Arkansas weed is so expensive. I could just press it myself.
Does it smell a lot? Like,
yes.
Like, is his neighbors like, what's going on over there?
Well, we actually, you know, we joked about there should be smell-o-vision, so everybody could smell it.
I mean, it is 2022. Where is our smell-o-vision?
Where is it?
We are just getting just ran over here. We don't have flying cars. What is going on? I drew those. I colored those when I was a kid because I knew in 2020 around then we'd be flying around in cars.
Right.
Not yet, though.
We all believed.
At least we can make a rosin at home, though. That's cool. Technology, man.
Yes, for sure. So what have you been watching?
Wendy, you know, we've been kind of stuck at home with a little bit of snow. In Arkansas, if it snows a little bit, it's like everything shuts down.
Yes, I'm from the Northeast. I'm like, what is going on? Like, seriously, the roads would be cleared within 2 hours. Everybody's expected to be at work. And
well, I kind of, you know, you kind of like it. We sort of liked it when we were kids because we got the snow day, and now the kids don't get a snow day, but the parents do. So we've noticed that like everything shuts down. Everyone kind of just stays at home. I kind of like everything slowing down though, but yeah, I've been watching TV. This is kind of
it's a nice pause. I do think it's a nice pause. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we were just talking about Cheetos. That's what I've been watching a lot of. And I find myself, and I was wondering if there's someone's a psychologist out there, but I've been watching this thing called Food Factory. Anyone watch that where they just like make food, like factories make food, like Cheetos. I watched them do that, which is pretty amazing, by the way, Wendy. You got to have like a bag of Cheetos and watch them do it. But it's
I was joking about eating a bag of Cheetos while I watched an exercise video yesterday.
How's that work out? Does it make you feel bad? You're like, I just know.
It's kind of funny, really, but yeah, I should check that out. I'd like to see how they make those. What other things are they making?
Oh, they make all sorts of things. Candies. I watched them make absinthe today, which was pretty amazing. Like some of the stuff that they do with those, with that, and how they make it, and it's kind of crazy. Some of them are like trade secrets, you know. But for the most part, they're pretty open about how everything's made. And maybe that's what it is. I just like the process and how amazing some of these like machines are that do this stuff and how that stuff is made. I don't know. Maybe it's just the nerdy side of me. So I don't have to worry about any emotions or positivity, Wendy. I'm just watching the machine.
It's neutral. It's kind of neutral.
Right. It's neutral. You said you were watching something with a little bit more passion, a little more heart, huh?
Oh yeah, I've been watching Love Life, and it's kind of I would say it's positive. It kind of there's a narrator, and it goes through like all a person's relationships over several years, and then they switch to another person. So I finished one complete set of watching this young woman, you know, who she's dating and who she couples with.
Are they actresses, or are they like?
Oh yeah, it's
okay.
Yeah. Okay. But I think it's kind of interesting, you know, who she chooses and who she ends up with and how she navigates all of that. So
it's so funny how we have some sort of you know, outside looking in at relationships. You're like, don't do it.
Right.
You know, like, you know, you're the perfect matchmaker, you know, you're like, don't do it.
Right.
You
well,
know,
I was like that a couple of times with this. I was like, no, don't go out with him. What are you doing? You know? So I feel like I kind of got immersed in it a little bit, and it's definitely good. I would definitely give it a bud. It's definitely worth watching, and it won't disturb your inner peace in any way.
The Food Factory is not a bud; it's a processed rosin. You know, like through the factory, it made it, and it's processed, but it's good. I think it's definitely worth it. And
yes, talk about making things with machines. You know, we've been consistent through the show. There you go. Well, coming up next, Dr. Brian Nichol will pair cannabis strain with our musical guest.
I'm Dr. Brian Nichol, your cannabis expert for CannabisExpertMD.com, with a music and cannabis pairing for the Wendy Love Edge Show. Wendy's musical guests this week are Hardened and Tempered. Now, that means they're hard enough to hold an edge, but soft enough not to break. I think the artist started describing himself with this line. It's composed of Kristen Davidson and Carolyn Phillips. They're from Austin, Texas. They're a country, folk, kind of bluegrass type of band. They really don't fit into any of those genres perfectly. They kind of take a little bit of all of it and make it their own. They released their first album in 2017. It was called The Trailer Sessions. It was selected as one of the best albums of the year by United States radio stations. Their second album, Hold the Line, that was released in 2021. That debuted at number 3 on the FAA Folk D-Day charts. I listened to Heartbreak Transit Line. Now, that is a song that has achingly poignant lyrics that are perfectly executed. It's very well recorded and produced. They've got outstanding musicians backing the duo on this too. Really a nice piece. It's a great song about, well, I guess the title says it all on that one, doesn't it? For this, I was looking for a strain to help relieve the pain of remembering your own times riding that railroad. For this, I selected, based on the cannabinoid terpene profiles available to me, Natural State Medicinal's Glue Ball. Now, Glue Ball is a very potent strain at 22% THC. There's a little bit of trace CBD present. Looking at the terpenes, as we always do to flesh out the headspace this is going to give you, Glue Ball does not disappoint. It is a very potent strain at 2.26% total terpenes. It is heavily myrcene dominant at 0.9%. Beta-caryophyllene up next at 0.67%, with limonene and linalool coming up, tied right about 0.25% each. Humulene rounds out the rest of them at 0.175%. There's just a little taste of pinene at 0.06%. Now, the myrcene should combine with the THC to give you a very fast cerebral effect, a kind of head high. The beta-caryophyllene, now that's going to chase some of the blues away, hopefully. The limonene will help with some of the anxiety, give you a bit of a mood lift as you rethink your past here. The linalool then settles in with the myrcene to give a very, very relaxing, decidedly chill base. The little bit of humulene in there might chase away a little bit of the munchies that people experience with strains like this. Now, Glue Ball, this should be just a strain to relieve the pain of reliving your past heartbreaks, or help you face the next round if you're going to ride the rails on the Heartbreak Transit Line again. For more information on all things medical cannabis, check us out at CannabisExpertMD.com. We're also available on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter under Cannabis Expert MD. And now I present to you Hardened and Tempered with Heartbreak Transit Line.
Muddy, I look older than I am. Deep stains tell my story in the lines of my hands. For a life worth half a real, love comes not. So I live recklessly, I'm the one that care forgot. The straightest path I follow finds trouble every time. At the destination's end, on the heartbreak transit line. From the depot station, just off Basin Street, I'm beckoned by the siren songs where the jolly good fellows meet. With a fistful of Queen Anne's lace and a picayune, I'm searching for you one night only in my book of blue. Shadows of the night, pardon little crimes, my rites of passage ride on the heartbreak transit line. So please just come to me when I lay my money down. With you, constant stranger, my fate is forever bound. The rhythm of the night, 12 bars in ragged time, the sound of my surrender to my forever lonesome life. When dealer calls last round, I pray it's not unkind. I'm going to the rails on the heartbreak transit line. Fare thee well, my love, my dream. I buried my heart with your memory. For good for nothing like me, sweet release is all I need. Shame to him who evil thinks. Shame to him who evil thinks. Your Southern Belle Rebellion took the best of me. Now I walk these streets until I find a cure for these maladies. One day I'll sit high in a hall of mahogany, be reborn 1,000 times from these sins, I'll be free. Last whistle blows, there'll be no mark in time at my destination's end on the heartbreak transit line. Fare thee well, my love, my dream. I buried my heart with your memory. You're good for nothing like me. Sweet release is all I need. Shame to him who evil thinks. Shame to him who evil thinks.
This is Mile High News on the Wendy Love Edge Show. I'm your host, Candis Dyer. Today's cannabis news is out of Texas. David Schlone from the 420 Lawyer brought it to my attention. A Texas cop, Chad Harding, stationed in Wichita Falls, was caught on video red-handed from his police cruiser vaping a confiscated THC vape pen while on duty and driving. All he got was 2 years probation for tampering with evidence. David Schlone had several cases involving Chad, and there was a Brady notice issued from Texas Ranger Jacob Weaver saying he didn't think that the officer was being honest. The state has to disclose to all involved if they think something is wrong with a case. David thought there was much more to the story and started investigating further. The news just blew right over the story. David found out Officer Chad Harding had been involved in numerous arrests involving cannabis. He asked the state for more videos and other evidence, and of course the state opposed him during his investigation at every turn and said as long as the criminal case was open, they wouldn't be able to release any information. When the criminal case against Chad was dropped, David finally was able to see the details on the case along with the video evidence, including one of Officer Chad Harding's vehicle. That's when he found it. Officer Chad Harding confiscated a THC vape pen and proceeded to take a puff on the pen in his cruiser. Then he proceeded to drive off. About 20 minutes later, pulls off to the road and puffs on it again. His excuse was laughable. He said, and I quote, "I actually accidentally inhaled THC, as stupid as it sounds. I felt it fill up my lungs. I pushed it out as fast as I could, and there was smoke everywhere. I've never seen anything smoke so much. I did not mean to inhale." Really? We're going to pull a Clinton here? I smoked weed before Highway Patrol, and I told them that whenever I came in. I told them about that. It's embarrassing, and I was wigged out. Also, during the investigation, they found 20 other cases that they know of after only investigating 6 months back, where Chad confiscated THC or cannabis, and the evidence never made it to the evidence box. He says it went to the state to be destroyed, but it never made it. This was caught on video and nothing was done about those. The issue is when it comes to cops and civilians, there are two sets of rules. That should not be the case. They should actually be held to a higher standard. They should be making an example out of the cops that are breaking laws, not sheltering them and hiding the problem. Not all cops are bad, but when you have good cops sticking up for bad cops, that makes the good ones just as bad. Why wasn't he prosecuted to the full extent of the law? If this was you or me, we would have gotten arrested for not only possession of a controlled substance, but also driving while under the influence, as well as anything else that they could get to stick. Did you know that if you have a scale in the car with you along with cannabis, they slap you with a distribution charge as well? How many of us use a scale to make sure that we aren't being shorted from the product that we buy? He only got 2 years probation. We have to make a change. This isn't right. Cops shouldn't be held unaccountable for the things that they do just because they're police officers. They should get just as much as we would get, if not more. They have been through schooling. They have learned about all these laws. And for them to turn around and break them and get nothing, it's just not right. This has been a Mile High News on the Wendy Love Edge Show. Y'all, stay lit, everyone. Peace.
Miss Teddi here with your Food is Medicine Minute. We are talking about keeping a positive attitude. And when you are using food as medicine, you definitely need to try to keep a positive attitude. Now, I'm going to give you a list of foods, and you're not going to be able to just eat a bowl of one of these and instantly be happy. These are just a list of foods for you to incorporate into your diet that will help give you the terpenes and the vitamin D and everything else you need to have a balanced mood. And these are bok choy, beef, dark chocolate, eggs, grapes, leafy greens, mushrooms, magnesium, poultry, sauerkraut, salmon, turnip greens, vitamin C, whole grains, and yogurt. So incorporating these into your diet, like I said, are going to help you get the terpenes, the vitamins, and the essential minerals that you need to keep a balanced and happy life. For more information on food as medicine, please feel free to contact me at Learn from Teddi on Facebook.
Well, what a great show it's been. Do you have any final thoughts about positive thinking and whether positive thinking is medicine? What do you think about it?
Positive. Yeah, I think it's a medicine of sorts. It's not a cure-all. You know, if you're being positive about not getting COVID or something, you know,
Right.
you still need a vaccination. You need all those things to be positive in doing that. I remind you that being positive isn't something where you're just like sunshines and rainbows all the time. It's getting up and being positive that you can overcome these things again and get better every time you fall down. And that's really that positivity that it's hard to match when it comes to that stuff. You got to be positive in that way.
Right. And it doesn't mean that you don't take the steps needed. Like you said, with regard to COVID, you know, you still have to take the steps. You can keep your vibration up and believe you're not going to get it, but the steps are still important.
Right. It's very helpful to believe and then have a vaccine that actually helps you.
Yes, for sure. And in turn, the same, you know, I started this health journey in 2013. And the first step was changing my mind to the positive, but it didn't mean that I was just going to say, everything's going to be great now. You know, I had to take a lot of steps. And some of the things that were on the list from the Mayo Clinic, like improving my lifestyle choices, you know, finding more humor in life. I actually specifically did that because, you know, I remembered when I was in college reading a book by Norman Cousins about that very thing. He claims he cured his cancer by watching the Three Stooges endlessly and laughing all the time. You know,
laughter's medicine.
Yes, you know, so I do think it's a medicine. I think it's a tool that with other things improves your life for sure.
Yes, and having people around you that are also positive and have a positive vibe. And if you don't have those people in your life that are not positive, find them. There are plenty of people out there that live a positive lifestyle and that, you know, can kind of give that a little bit of that to you when you're around them. So people that believe in you, people that have that positive vibe can help you believe in yourself and get up and be better.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Well, have a great week, everyone. Bye. The Wendy Love Edge Show is sponsored in part by Caris Healthcare, the Relevnt App, Lit Premium Smoking Supplies, 131 Inclusion Gallery, Irie Bliss Wellness, Lynsey Camp, and Synergy One Lending.